One. All right there, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Tier Monster Challenger Cup, sponsored by hi-rez Studios. My name's Extreme, and I'm here joined by Shadowboy for the quarterfinals of this series. Shadowboy, how are you doing today?
Same I was doing the last couple games. Pretty darn skipper. Risky behavior versus Sanguine Esports. We just watched Sanguine Esports dominate another team quite decisively. Utilized a strategy that worked very effectively for them. Now I'm interested to see what kind of strategy they approach this time around. And so far, it looks like global presence is going to be denied just slightly with the Athena ban by Risky Behavior. Sasano is going to follow, and over on Sanguine Esports, they go for the Raijin ban as well as Kepri. So not wanting to allow their opponents to get their hands on such a powerful god.
Yeah, it looks like risky behavior is going to be going for probably a specific god, and they're going for Kuang. So they definitely want to get that execution online. We've seen Kuang go off in a lot of games, so I definitely I agree with their picking strategy, or their banning strategy rather. Ban out ban out someone like Athena, who's still a really good ban, but not necessarily a first ban, and opt for something that you really want, like the Kuang.
Yeah, I think Ao Kwong is a respectable pick here, especially since Risky Behavior wants to come in strong in this one. Now, keep in mind, though, Sanguine Esports can find any god with a disarm or something like that, or even a huge amount of CC like Kumbhakarna, and shut down somewhat Ao Kwong. So he still has to tread carefully. He's a very powerful character, but an organized team can always rise above the strength of one individual god. Now, Risky Behavior allowing themselves a pretty good opportunity here as well with the Janus pickup as and they also want to take Sobek. So a pick composition in the making.
Oh, definitely. Apollo going on for Sanguine Esports. Now, this is a very heavy auto attack based lineup coming out of Sanguine Esports. I would honestly like to see a Bellona ban coming out because, quite frankly, I mean, you ban or risky behavior decides to pick up Bellona, they will be able to do a lot of work against the Soul and Apollo with the disarms.
Yeah, but the same argument could be made in favor of Sanguine Esports. You could use the Bellona to your advantage. So they might be wanting to kind of sneak that one into their pockets to see if they could use it as a tool to shut down Ao Kwong. And it looks like they fear more so the Osiris pickup than the Bellona pickup. And Risky Behavior doesn't even care for banning out the Bellona at this point. Guan Yu is more scary to them. Having that extra heal and having that extra shred is really dangerous.
Yeah, Han Bots being the last ban here for risky behavior. They may be looking for a specific jungler. It will be interesting to see, what they opt to pick up.
Oh, with Sanguine Esports banning out two bruisers, it looks like the priority is just to make sure that Risky Behavior doesn't get somebody who can leverage over in the soul lane. And they might want to go back to their Fenrir roots, but instead they're going to go ahead and pick up Amaterasu. So rather than taking the Bellona opportunity, they wanted to go with this character. Interesting choice. But Bellona is going to be locked in for Risky Behavior, as you mentioned before, as well as Jing Wei.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Amaterasu is not the greatest matchup there for Bellona, but it'll be pretty effective versus, especially towards the later stages of the game where Bellona will start to rotate. It'll be very effective towards that Apollo, towards that Soul. It'll be interesting to see how well that Bellona thing comes out, as well as the Jing Wei. This is the first time we've seen Jing Wei in a hot minute.
A hot minute. Oh, I,
I,
I had no idea you had that vocabulary in you. But yeah, basically, Jing Wei is considered a utility style mage that has a very specific function. Some would say she's a little bit more early to mid game, and then some would say that she's as dangerous of a late game character as any. I'm kind of on the earlier stages where I think that there are other gods who do what she might want to do better. Meanwhile, Taking a look over at Sanguine Esports, they have a strong team fight composition, and it's more so an enduring team fight composition rather than a immediate burst one. Just having a huge amount of CC that you can chain one after another, after another, after another. Just starting with the initiation with Fenrir, I really would be afraid of Sanguine Esports if I was Risky Behavior right now. You have to play very sound if you're Risky Behavior if you want to pull this game out.
Definitely. I definitely like the Hanbot span coming out of Risky Behavior. That would have been a huge disruption. Sanguine Esports, with their comp right now, certainly has a lot of potential to really lock down and burst any number of targets. They do have a lot of single target focused gods like the Fenrir, like the Kumbhakarna.
Wait, the Fenrir could very well be the solo lane. I believe it's on medieval. Yep, so that is the solo lane Fenrir again. So it's actually Fenrir against Bellona rather than Amaterasu. But we're going to go ahead and get set up for the game. You guys go ahead and chat it up. Talk about who you think is going to win, why, and what god is going to be most important in this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat over to the Fenrir. If Medieval can do it once, let's see if he can do it twice. So you guys go ahead. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back after a brief pause. And we are in the game, and already a little bit of action coming out. Sanguine Esports versus Risky Behavior in what I believe is the quarterfinals, if I'm looking at this correctly. Yep, quarterfinals. And so off the bat, you can already see the protective wards coming out. One, to make sure that there's no invade on the middle side, or at least let everyone know if mid harpies are being started from Sanguine Esports on the side of Risky Behavior, and same vice versa. Meanwhile, there is a safety ward by Risky Behavior on the solo lane side to look out for an invade. Kuang with Bellona not feeling confident in their matchup against Fenrir. Amaterasu in a 1v1, or excuse me, a level 1 solo laner jungler fight.
Yeah, certainly, especially with no potion coming out on the side of Kuang there. It'll be it'll be kind of interesting to see how this jungle matchup goes. Amaterasu is not really that well known as a jungler. She's more typically a solo laner.
I'm more so interested in the solo lane matchup itself with the Fenrir and the Bellona, because last game we saw Fenrir go for the red pod. Now, I don't know if that was because he knew the actual individual he was up against, or because he just felt that confident in that particular matchup, but he didn't elect to do the same here. Now, I'm not sure if that is because he doesn't feel as confident about his matchup with Bellona, or he doesn't feel as confident about him up against this particular person. Either way, mid harpies on the right side going favorably over to Risky Behavior. Meanwhile, Soul is going to try and take out the ones on the left side and isn't able to do so. He's able to get one, but not both. So a little bit of a win there. She does get some damage off on the Kuang as well.
It's not going to be fun. Kuang will have to kind of heal that up, as Kuang is still level 2. Fun Crush dashing and trying to get some damage, but not able to find it. This is going to be a little awkward. Okay, Gilliard did manage to hit level 3 there, and now an invasion is going in on these backside harpies. Fun Crush and Covey just playing up their confidence. They'd go for the invasion and then decide to back it off. So
yeah, they just wanted to show presence over on the side of Risky Behavior. As long as you make sure that they know you're there, you have to play with the idea of Bellona coming in and making a very, very unfavorable matchup for you, because Fenrir at this moment isn't necessarily getting a lot done in terms of bullying out this Bellona. She has a lot of recoverability movement.
Especially with that disarm coming out, that's going to be very awkward for Medieval to clear the wave. Fenrir does require a lot of auto attacks to really help clear that wave effectively, so it's going to be very effective for Bellona to use that disarm. Medieval will probably be losing a lot of creeps under tower until he gets that levels online, but a little aggressive pounce there to just kind of interrupt Mango.
I think it's going to be just fine. Bellona, in my opinion, is the stronger person in this fight, just out of being so diverse, and then on top of that, having so many ways to just escape pressure from Fenrir. If you try to go for a Ragnarok, if it's not followed, or if it's not preceded with a stun, you're wasting your time, because Bellona could just Eagles Rally or just dash away. And if you're trying to brutalize her, she can just... I mean, there's just so many options.
Meanwhile, Nadulian looks like Awesome to the Max had to go back to base, was probably just shoved out there by Famous Hate and Viper. But Jing Wei, of course, has her passive. She's able to get back to lane really quickly, probably not even missing a wave. So The one advantage for Jing is that if she does get shoved out, she can just return just like that. It's now
Yep.
Viper hitting level 5. True Blade though, still getting some poke onto him.
And going back over to the Jingwei comment, that's why some people would consider her a little less optimal in the later stages of the game, because you're not necessarily coming out of base as often as you would think. So you kind of get a bit of a wasted passive there, whereas Audacity scales all the way from the early game to the end game. But aggressive maneuvering onto this red buff isn't taken by risky behavior. They went for it and weren't able to achieve it. However, they were able to at least achieve denying gold to the jungler, and they were forced to use the red buff onto the Apollo, which may or may not be a good thing depending on how you look at it. But middle lane, there's a little bit of a skirmish going on, a little bit of back and forth, but nothing too solid just yet. Janus gets a decent amount of poke damage off onto the soul as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while that invasion was happening in the left side, in the right side, Sanguine Esports did invade the speed buff and the blue buff of Risky Behavior. Viper now just stunning at Giliara, but nice play coming out of Sanguine Esports. They saw the action in the left lane, so they figured might as well go invade the right lane.
And that's one of the small strategies that help you pretty fairly if you make sure that you leverage it. But over at the left mid Harpies, Sobek goes into lurking in the waters as a big fight breaks out through space and time. Is only going to land onto the Kumbhakarna, who does pop the meditation to help out his team. And it doesn't look like the poor Kuang is going to be able to actually secure the execute onto this Kumbhakarna. And Kovi is taken out by Mango, who made his way over there. Now they're looking at a Kumbhakarna who is dangerously low. They are able to get that kill as well. Medieval is taking out Mango, and all that remains is a Sobek battered and bruised and a no mana Janus who retreats into the jungle. All around, a pretty big fight that went darn near evenly.
It did actually end up going more so in Risky Behavior's favor. They did get the first blood and another kill on top of that. So, taking a look at the graphs, it's about a 500 gold difference. So it's a start. It's not inconsequential, but it's really not going to affect too much. It may just help out that soul lane matchup a little bit, as one of the kills, I believe the first blood, did actually end up going on to Bellona.
Yeah, I think so. So Bellona might come back into the lane a little bit more confidently against the Fenrir. Now, take a look at Fenrir's build. He went for the Frostbound Hammer last time when he was super confident in his matchup. Now he's actually going for the Silver Breastplate. So this is a completely different Sanguine Esports that we saw last game, where they put a lot of focus on the jungler being the damage dealer. But you take a look at his build as well. That's an Enchanted Kusari, which basically means they're looking to bulk this Amaterasu up. Meanwhile, over in the left side of the map, Jingwei is in a bad spot. She's going to find the bad end of a soul ultimate and a couple of auto attacks. Kovi finds himself a kill.
Yeah, not able to escape was Jingwei. Awesome to the max. Ooh, but Giliara gets the execute back. Oh, Kovi!
Nope.
Able to disapparate just in time. But he does get
at least I don't think it matters, yeah.
Yeah. Kovi does go down there, but the execute coming out of Giliara was just mistimed, that Kovi was able to disapparate and avoid the execute, so that ultimate was kind of wasted. Nick is here to maybe put some damage on Fun Crush instead. Looks like they're going to back it off. Not really go for a hard engagement there, as True Blade. That was a 1-for-1 trade, so you trade the ADC for the mid laner. It's about even. Meanwhile, Bellona's getting collapsed on.
They're going to all collapse onto this Bellona, who does find the Eagles rally. Unfortunately for the Amaterasu, her second strike of her ultimate took her out of the mez that Kumbhakarna had set up. Meanwhile, Fenrir is going to be dangerously low. Meditation used to keep him alive. Sobek trapped between a couple of members. His good body blocking is going to secure Fenrir's escape route, or maybe it won't, but actually Viper is the only one who goes down there. So support for a soul laner. I think Kumbhakarna is just A-okay with that one.
Yeah, but Fun Crush still aggressing here. Maybe trying to get a pick on the Giliara here. Fun Crush they're just kind of standing there. Oh, but Fun Crush has that Wrath. Was able to steal away the blue buff, so that's going to be a little awkward for Bellona now.
Yeah, Bellona not too mana dependent. She does have the Death Toll, which helps her a lot, especially when most of her wave clear just comes through auto attacking. So she should be just fine. A little bit more of an annoyance, I would say, rather than anything else. As Apollo is dedicatingly staying over here in the left side of the map. His build route is, of course, the throwing dagger into the warrior Tabai, and then more than likely going to go for some form of attack speed. The question is which kind. over in the dual lane.
Mango looking to invade the blue buff, but not able to find it. The blue buff does go in favor of Sanguine Esports, as now Mango's just going to clear the wave. He was looking for a cheeky little steal there, but not able to find it. Now, backing off is Risky Behavior. They've been hurting a little bit. They had some nasty invades, and now they're just trying to clean up their wounds. As they are actually a little bit ahead, about 1,000 gold and about 600 XP. It's virtually inconsequential at this point, but there is a level difference between the junglers.
Apollo, famous hate over in the duo lane, starting to really rear back and do some damage. Took down Awesome to the max's health and very few amount of strikes. But over in the solo lane, speaking of aggression, they're going right back to bullying the solo laner, Amaterasu and Fenrir, as Janus comes over. Might have made a mistake there. Going to need to go into the portal to get out of a bad spot, as Kuang has now made his way into the mix. And he's just going to act as a deterrent for the members of Sanguine Esports. Not anything else that it looks like Kuang could do over here.
Funcrush not able to find the silence, not able to collapse on the Giliara, as now they're going to back it off. Risky Behavior now just looking to clean up after that awkward death going on to Bellona again. Bellona now sitting at 1-3-1. This is not a good look for her.
Not a good look, but it's also not a horrible look. With 3 giant frontliners as the opponents you have to deal with, Bellona's job is always going to be hard. She has to transition to be a backline destroyer without Kuang. Basically be the first wave of assault. She jumps in, does a lot, maybe pops out some movement abilities or pops out some defensive relics, and then Kuang comes in and guaranteed gets the kill. So that's her role in this fight right now. Sobek is more the initiator in a lot of ways, so hopefully she can at least fulfill that role as the game gets later and later, and she's building to do so. She has the Warrior Tabi working on the Breastplate of Valor, more than likely going to either get a Jotun's Wrath after that, or maybe just go ahead and say screw it and get some magical protection.
Yeah, Mango taking a good bit of poke there from Medieval, just not trading effectively. Fenrir is doing pretty well in that regard. Ultimate was popped there by Funcrush just to ensure that True Blade didn't get the pluck there. The pluck as well does not connect, goes on to a creep instead. Now True Blade just having used the ultimate to ensure his escape. Doesn't quite want to get collapsed on.
Apollo boxing it out again with the Jing Wei over in the left side of the map, doing so favorably as Jing Wei seems to be taking the worst end of the poke trades. But back in the middle lane, that's where the fight's really going to break out. As Epic Uppercut was used on Sobek to start up the fight. Sobek finds a way under tower, thankfully, and they are going to turn their attention over to the Kumbhakarna on the side of Risky Behavior. Fenrir is here. He comes in with the Ragnarok, brings out a target, but the fight is already broken out in an unfavorable way for the members of Sanguine Esports. They are able to find a kill, however, but it doesn't look like they're going to get much else other than that, as it is going to be another kill under Famous Hate as well. So both the big damage dealers taken out already. Bellona in the back line harassing this Fenrir. He's going to be able to find the last strike to get the kill. Gallon might be able to do something here. He's dangerously low. He's going to get taken out by Invader Tower, and the rest of the members of Sanguine Esports do walk away. 1-for-1, or excuse me, 2-for-2 trade at the end of the day for both Sanguine Esports and Risky Behavior.
Yeah, it looked like it was really going in favor of Sanguine Esports there until Nick came in. He just threw the space and time out and absolutely destroyed the backline of Sanguine Esports there. It did go a little bit more in favor of Risky Behavior, as Sanguine Esports didn't actually get that last kill on the Giliara. They just got assist gold from that, which is, you know, it's something, but still a little bit more in favor of Risky Behavior, though.
Everyone going back, just clearing up a couple of buffs and getting some things done. In fact, it looks like Risky Behavior was able to successfully steal away the speed buff, so denying that from Amaterasu really going to be impactful. She really enjoys having that movement speed. Speaking of movement speed, not much built into her itemization. Really just a lot of magical and physical protection in unique ways. Genji's Guard for the 80 magical protection, as well as a little bit of CDR and a huge amount of MP5, keeping her out in the jungle longer, and a spiked shield just to kind of get some physical protection as well as some physical damage. I'm assuming this is going to turn into like a void shield.
Yeah, spiked shield will go into a void shield, so I don't expect anything too much else to come out. You're just trying to go for that same kind of void stone effect where you want to reduce the physical power of other gods. And Amaterasu is basically the god to do that. She's a very Front line, just aggressive God, and Covey and Viper just trying to clean up the Gold Fury wards. Just playing a little aggressive, just taunting around. Trueblade was mesmerized under Viper's yawn for a couple seconds there, and Viper just kind of jumped around and laughed at him as he was asleep.
Apollo sitting on Ickvale. The AD carry lane has been quiet for the past couple of minutes, as I believe a cumulative of 1 kill has happened in the last 10 minutes over there. But big grouping over by the Gold Fury. Both teams are ready to make something happen here, as Sanguine Esports does take the Gold Fury, lose Medieval over in the right side of the map, but the fight still breaks out over here. Epic uppercut was used on a CC immune target, and now it's a 1v1 AD carry matchup. Soul versus the Jing Wei. She's dancing around Sanctuary, keeping her alive just a little bit longer. Meditation used. Soul's coming back in. She's strong and healthy. Can she make a big play happen here? Not able to get the finalizing damage, and in fact, Nick able to secure the kill onto Covey, who just couldn't find the damage necessary to finish it off. Apollo comes in and saves Kumbhakarna on the backside, and not going to be able to get the kill on the Bellona either. So all around, Sanguine Esports just couldn't finish off anything that was presented to them other than the Gold Fury.
Yeah, that fight really turned around. It looked like Awesome with Max was dead until the crits came out. One of Jingwei's abilities is that she gets a passive crit chance. It's not much, but it was enough for Awesome to the Max to be able to get the kill onto Covey there. That was very, very lucky coming out, as now the speed buff is going to be invaded. Giliara is plucked here by Medieval. Looks like they will be trying to collapse on him. Escaped for now is Giliara. The dash comes out. They're just trying to find something maybe a little bit too aggressive on that speed buff steal.
I think that Sanguine Esports has been playing pretty good and sound. They saw that Fenrir was going to die on the right side of the map, and so they tried to make an aggressive play. And even though the fight didn't go their way after the Golden Fury secure with the Wrath on Amaterasu, they still were able to bring down the gold charts to a halfway point of where it was prior to achieving that Gold Fury. So they have the sense, they have the game knowledge to know where to make plays and when to make them. Now they just need to get to a point where their damage dealers can more consistently do damage safely, and where their frontliners can more consistently CC chain for their AD carries.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the levels right now, there's a minor difference in between Mango and Medieval. Itemization-wise, they're basically about the same place, and it just looks like Risky Behavior and Sanguine Esports are just about even right now. This is anybody's game to see.
A little bit of a rotation coming out towards the Soul lane. In fact, it looks like it's just a warding mission as Kumbhakarna drops one of the bottom part of the map jungle entrance in the middle lane. Apollo just going to clear up waves here and there and actually clear out a ward. So good on you, getting a sentry ward for your team, unless that was Amaterasu who dropped that for you. But she is in the nearby vicinity, looking to try and possibly make a play happen over in the dual lane. More than likely not going to happen. In fact, she's losing out on a bit of golden experience by not at least showing presence in lane. Meanwhile, over on the right side of the map, Fenrir forcing the Ragnarok just to get away from the jungle out. Kuang going to be forced out of lane, and that tower is going to be taken away.
Yep, certainly. The Soul Reaver just came on line for Ao Kuang, so he was looking to kind of go for that one-shot potential on Medieval. Not able to find the kill, but was able to definitely shove the Fenrir out of lane to get that tier 1 tower. But now in the mid lane, the tier 1 tower for Risky Behavior is looking pretty low.
Oh, and not only that, but Soul and Amaterasu look like they're in a bad spot. Surrounded is going to be Covey. He's looking at 4 members of Risky Behavior, a 5th one on the way. She's going to try and get some damage off before she goes down, is able to successfully do so, and is actually healed up quite considerably to the point where she might be able to survive. Running around desperately. Nope. Sobek going to be the secure of the kill as Apollo comes in, thinking about it, changes his mind, runs back to tower. No big objective available for Risky Behavior, but they were able to get a kill. They were able to get the middle tower, and all that's left for them to be able to do is either push onto this left tower or get some jungle camps. Either way, I don't think they're going to be able to get this left tower.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get this left tower either. This is the Amaterasu still here and Apollo, so unless they're managing to get a pick, Trueblade able to, find something, I don't think it's going to be a tower take, and they're just going to kind of shove up the wave a little bit. Now, maybe looking for the Kumbhakarna here, as he's not necessarily out of position, but certainly in a position where they can be aggressed on. Giliara, though, cleans up Medieval up in the dual lane side, or in the soul lane side over by the speed buff.
Unfortunately for them, they still haven't gotten to a point where they can group up and deal with this Dao Kuang effectively. So now he's starting to really blow up, has the Polynomicon, has the Soul Reaver, as you mentioned, working on getting more than likely a penetration item to seriously crank up the damage. And he's 5-1-2 after all that's said and done. It's a scary, scary time for Sanguine Esports if they can't get their team fight coordinated and started up earlier than the next couple of minutes, because at this point they're about to deal with a really fed out Kuang and have no answer for it.
That is very true indeed. Soul sitting so far behind now. 1-5 is this Soul. She's been absolutely pressured out of lane. Why do you think that's happening as a Gold Fury is started by Sanguine Esports?
Oh, they're doing the Gold Fury. Looks like they're going to focus all their attention onto is do or die at this point. Sanguine Esports do take it. Unfortunately, they do take a loss of Kobe and Bellona, making sure that Ao Kuang survives as long as possible, as well as a portal from Janus. And that fight is going to break out very poorly for Sanguine Esports. Their main damage dealer is gone. All they've got left is Apollo, and he's not able to make a big impact just yet. He's forced to retreat entirely, and Risky Behavior lose nothing but the Gold Fury. And that is a bit of a swing in favor of Sanguine Esports, and then right back up to Risky Behavior.
Yeah, Risky Behavior still sitting with a pretty decent lead at about 3,000 gold and about 5,000 XP. It's really starting to add up. You can see it's slowly climbing up in favor of Risky Behavior, but those Gold Furies keep swinging it back down. They just keep bringing them down and up and down and up.
See, this is the one big downside of being Fenrir in a game like this, is that even after you get a lot of kills, even after you get a lot of things done, if you don't transition it over into a lot of kills for your AD carries, there's nothing really to be said. This is going back over to your question about why Soul's been held down. A lot of times just the focus hasn't been on, okay, Fenrir, you've got a certain amount of time and window span that you can make something happen. We need to make plays elsewhere. And while Fenrir wasn't doing that, the opposing side, Ao Kuang, the opposing side, Sobek, Jing, everyone kind of gave a little bit of contribution into forcing the Soul either out or putting pressure on her. Even Bellona came in a couple times, in fact, for that first blood with the Eagles rally, and made a huge impact over in the middle lane. So until they start really bringing each other together, Sanguine Esports, this game is going to be a downward spiral into defeat. But right now, it's still a manageable margin. $3,000 is not a huge deficit at the 20-minute marker. And Fire Giant is obviously the great equalizer in a game as close as this.
Certainly, certainly. And again, Sanguine Esports has been very much on top of these objectives. I wouldn't be surprised if they would be the ones to take the first Fire Giant, as Risky Behavior just doesn't seem to have this objective coordination.
Well, not only that, but they don't have a Wrath, which is surprisingly effective for the members of Sanguine Esports in keeping them together. However, what's not going to help in them keeping together is the pressure being put onto Kobe. You see all the ultimates come out just to ensure her kill, and it's not going to work just yet, but it's finally a kill going over to Nick. Meanwhile, Medieval finds the kill on Ao Kuang. Fenrir is chasing desperately onto this Jing Wei, is able to find a little bit of damage, and it looks like the tankiness is starting to finally catch up to Sanguine Esports. But can Janus turn around the damage just enough to swing this fight? It looks like they might be able to do so. Amaterasu dangerously low, Medieval dangerously low, and it doesn't look like Apollo wants to go in heavy onto a fight either. Nick coming around the corner, he wants more.
Yep, it looks like the damage is going on to Medieval. Oh. Mango gets the kill.
That was a very lazy back. I'm not sure why Medieval back there, but unfortunately he got punished really hard. Thought that maybe he was able to bait something out of Sobek and ended up actually getting thrown into a Janus unstable vortex for the kill. Tier 2 tower going down over on the right side of the map, leaving only one remaining tower on the side of Sanguine Esports, while Risky Behavior has yet to lose a single one.
Yep, it actually looks like another engagement coming here. Awesome, the Max getting collapsed on pretty hard. Fun Crush with the ultimate. Not able to get the kill, but Famous Hate does turn it around. Nick getting a little low. Covey just running through, trying to get a train onto Nick, but Viper getting a bit of damage. He's going to get blown up, but True Blade is cleaned up there by Covey. Covey has been actually doing really well in these fights, despite being 2-7-4.
Yeah, he's been doing good. He's just been pressured a lot. I mean, ability after ability after ability after ability. If anything, I would be screaming, team, where you at? Anytime I died, because 2-7 is not the true story of this game. 2-7 is like the, okay, What Sanguine Esports did to the solo laner of last game is happening to them, to their middle laner, which makes sense. It's very justifiable. It's a good strategy. It's working for Risky Behavior. Now, the only question is, can Sanguine Esports do what their opponents last game couldn't and turn around and make big plays despite that fact?
Yeah, we will see. I mean, taking a look at the player damage chart, Soul is number 3 up there, so certainly not lacking in that regard, as the tier 1 tower for Risky Behavior does go down, the first tower taken. But now, looks like lots of damage going on. Awesome the Max is plucked in the backline. Gilliard trying to get the kill onto Covey, but not able to find it. Now, Awesome the Max just trying to escape, as Sobek is still diving deep, trying to find something. Yam's ultimate a little off the mark, but the backline is neck. He's trying to get some damage, but now they're all going to collapse onto him. He's caught in between a rock and a hard places now. He's trying to escape. Medieval with a nice jump over the wall to get the kill onto Nick. Now it looks like Sanguine Esports is going to start trying to collapse onto this tier 2 tower.
Big mistake coming out from that. Janus putting himself in a dangerous position there, especially with so much CC on the other side. Now they have to deal with 280 carries and a seriously bulky front line. You look at them, they're just trading off tower aggro, but now they've gotten punished slightly for it, 1-for-1 as Bellona, or excuse me, as Amaterasu and Sobek both go down, tanky targets falling off the map. Gold Fury is up and available. Amaterasu was the Wrath for objective security, so they're more than likely not going to go for this, but that is just showing you how effective and how dangerous it is to deal with a seriously bulky team, and how dangerous it is to put yourself out of position for the potential of a kill. Not the guarantee, but the potential.
Oh, definitely. As a Fenrir maybe a little bit out of position here in the mid lane, but it looks like no one on the side of Risky Behavior is going to collapse on it. Bellona is here just to clean up the waves. Nothing really going to happen now. As, well, Amaterasu has been an interesting case study so far. She's been actually doing a little bit of a different role in the jungle compared to Gilliara.
Yeah, I mean, the bruiser role. I mean, this is the idea. Sanguine Esports has drafted a team composition where they recognize, all right, we are 3 really heavy frontliners. I mean, look at the first 3 people on their team. Fun Crush, Viper, and Medieval. All 3 of them have darn near the same build. Genji's Guard, Void Shield, Genji's Guard, Bulwark of Hope, Breastplate of Valor. I mean, they all have so much protections just to try and be a frontline. But Sanguine Esports utilizing that Wrath effectively to ensure that they pick up the objective. Gold Fear going their way. Now they need to turn this fight around. Amaterasu starts it off pretty decently, getting a little bit of damage off, but Eagle's Rally might have changed the flow of the battle a little bit more so. Jing ultimate a little off the mark as well, so there's a little bit of comeback potential there and available. Fenrir in the back line, he's gonna retreat as he didn't see any opportunity to get to that Bellona, and now both sides are just gonna retreat. Nobody falling but Gold Fury.
Yeah, that really is in favor of Sanguine Esports there. That Gold Fury is certainly going to help.
That was not nice. So they all retreated off the tower. This is ensuring not only the tower's death, but the death of Covey. Poor communication resulted in them losing a lot there. They need to invest in this. This is the only chance they've got to make a big play here. They've already lost. Nick is already taken out of the battle. Now they're going to turn over to Jing, who's going to be taken out as well. 3 members remaining on the side of Risky Behavior. They're trying to take up the red buff while they're there. It looks like doesn't matter. Sanguine Esports is going to turn their attention over to objectives. They realize that they've been at the losing end of towers, and so they want to make a difference in that right now.
Yeah, that tier 1 tower was the first tower taken by Sanguine Esports, so they're just going to be looking to clear up this duo lane side as, well, Risky Behavior just doesn't have the manpower to commit to it. They're going to have to fight under Phoenix, if anything, because that's a 4-man grouping, excuse me, on the side of Sanguine Esports, and Risky Behavior really only has 3, and 2 of them aren't damage dealers.
Oh man, but it looks like they still want to make a play happen. They are forgetting that they're only so far ahead, and they want to go in. There's the pluck onto Fenrir. He's still taking enough to deal with the pressure from Kuang, and now it looks like Risky Behavior may have the advantage in this fight as Fenrir is dangerously low, forced to retreat through space and time, not going to connect onto anyone. Kumbhakarna turns around, locks down the target, and they are in full disengage mode. Should be able to do so as CDR working really well in the favor of this Fenrir, and that was a huge chase and a couple of ultimates used for naught. They still have the potential of possibly taking this tier 2 tower.
Certainly do, but it looks like everyone's going to be heading back to base. Viper just sticking around to ensure that no one decides to engage. Covey maybe a little out of position as Mango and Trueblade will gesture around these back camps, but instead they're gonna back it off now. Whew, this game just turned from in favor of risky behavior to now virtually even.
I mean, yeah, it's more so than even. They're aggressing even right now, as you see Fenrir holding Medieval in place for them to kill her potentially, and they should be able to get this. There's the ultimate coming out from Soul, but it doesn't even matter. Famous Hate picks up the kill, and this is just the problem. They're so tanky and they're so quick to just horde around you that it's so difficult for you to actually survive. Kuang doing what Kuang does best, going into the back line, trying to make a big play happen, not able to lock down a kill just yet. However, he did deter the members of Sanguine Esports from pursuing any further onto this tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, Kumbhakarna is perfectly healthy, and look at that. In fact, the entire enemy team of Sanguine Esports is completely healthy. They're going to go right back at it. Oh, but Kuang on the backside might be able to get something. No, Medieval does take him out before he's able to even get anyone close to execute range, and that is just so unfortunate for the members of Risky Behavior, as now they have to try and make a big play here with very low damage numbers. That's going to be a retreat from Sanguine Esports.
Ooh, Nick did get splashed a little bit there by Soul, and Trueblade again trying to make it big. Doesn't manage to connect with Medieval, but not able to find the autos is awesome to the max. He's going to be looking to now disengage as there are 3 members of Sanguine Esports now. He's got to run.
Oh, unfortunately, Medieval gets caught out in the jungle, decided to back at the red camp so he can get back to lane as fast as possible. Bellona comes in with the Eagles rally as Janus really far back on the line. Kobe dancing around to avoid Bellona's damage. He's not going to be able to survive much longer, and there it is. Mango finds the kill. Oh, but on the other side, Amaterasu dancing around with this Jing able to take the speed buff away, but Fire Giant does look tasty, and it looks like the call is risky behavior. Go for the Fire Giant.
Yeah, it looks like they're heading straight for this Fire Giant, though. Amaterasu and Apollo are both here. No one's zoning for the side of risky behavior. This might be a little troublesome, as Amaterasu does have her Wrath up.
Yeah, Wrath would be unfortunate if landed, and Fun Crush is going to go in here. They know that they can't stay on this objective unless they want to risk the potential of losing it. In fact, they might as well just go ahead and take it at this point. Wrath is up. They're going to get it. Sanguine Esports find the Fire Giant, but they've already lost Fun Crush. Can they get out with the rest of their teammates? Epic uppercut used. There's the ultimate for Nick to secure the kill on the Famous Hate. Tries to use his ultimate to escape, and there's no one left to defend the Phoenix. In fact, all that they have left is a Fenrir and a Kumbhakarna, and Kumbhakarna is getting slapped around and tossed around like a potato. Sanguine Esports probably are going to lose here.
Sanguine Esports, oh, the execute doesn't come out. Viper just able to barely heal up enough. Viper is still being run down, though. Looks like Mango, oh, Trueblade just got picked by Covey and Medieval there. Medieval having to use his ultimate to grab Sobek, and I don't know if, I don't honestly know if risky behavior can finish the fight.
They're at the very least about to finish off a couple of these Phoenixes, which is what's important. That's the bigger fact here is actually you're looking at Kobe dangerously low yet again. Kobe being bullied out for most of this game. Portal used to save their Kuang, and they are able to walk away with at least this right side Phoenix. Amaterasu wants to look for a little bit more, finds the stun on Nick, and then some as Nick is taken out quite decisively. Famous Hate over in the air comes down onto the Kuang. He wants to try and find a little bit more. Can he find him invisible? No, he cannot. But Kobe possibly can. Chasing, Disasperate used. Fenrir coming around the corner. He should have a teleport up here soon. There's the stun. There's the kill. That's going to be another one going over to Sanguine Esports. So as soon as I said it, they immediately changed it and made me eat my words. Right side Phoenix down, but Sanguine Esports not out.
Sanguine Esports certainly do have a very good chance to come back, as there are 2 Phoenixes still exposed. It looks like they're going to be starting up this Gold Fury here. Now, Sanguine Esports may be starting to come back. Taking a look at the graphs real quick. It's 2,000 gold in favor of them. Risky behavior now really losing their lead. The XP difference is basically non-existent, as pretty much everyone on the side of both teams is level 20 minus the supports.
The single most difficult factor for Sanguine Esports right now is the fact that they keep losing their Soul and their Apollo to one character. They have to invest so much, whether it be defensive relics, abilities, ultimates, just to ensure that Kuang either dies or doesn't get to do whatever he wants to the backline. of Sanguine Esports. And because of that focus, because of that investment, because of that smart and sound play by the Ao Kuang, they're just not able to finish out these fights or even the game. But you see Janus as well as Jing focusing their attention over to the last tier 2 tower on the left side of the map. Meanwhile,
This might be
the same could
problematic.
be said over on the other side of the map, as it looks like they want to try and pick up this kill on the Bellona and the tier 1 tower. Do find the Bellona, probably going to find the tier 1 tower, but this is a base race at this point, and I think the advantage is going to go over to Risky Behavior, as all they're looking at is a Phoenix, whereas all that Sanguine Esports is looking at is another tower and a couple of members of the enemy team.
This may be troublesome as Medieval does come back in. Just trying to pick up this tower is awesome to the max. They do manage to find the tower, but at what cost is now Medieval is collapsing on a Nick, getting all kinds of damage, but the nice Sanctuary comes out. Nice peel coming out of Awesome to the Max, as now they're able to escape, and Fun Crush gets the kill on the Giliara. This may be troublesome as they're going to be looking towards this middle Phoenix.
Oh, so that trade-off didn't work out too well for them. Having both your damage dealers on the opposite end of the map ended up very poorly. They did get the kill on the Medieval, but looks like they might lose all but one Phoenix. And in fact, they did lose all but one Phoenix. So what looked like a strong situation for them quickly turned into a poor one. All the members of Sanguine Esports are going to back up, probably push up that left lane with the Apollo, and then start getting ready for Fire Giant, as it is going to be up here in a minute.
Yeah, it definitely turned out in favor of Sanguine Esports. They went from having no Phoenixes taken, still two towers left behind, to just having two Phoenixes and losing two for their own. So it's basically an even trade, but worked out so much better in favor of Sanguine Esports.
And I like the response by Sanguine Esports too. Not only have they recognized that they need to change their approach in dealing with some of these fights, but they also recognize they need to change some of their builds. You take a look at Soul, working the Cloak of Concentration, more than likely going to turn into the Mantle of Discord, just to try and get some survivability. You don't die 9 times and then say, you know what, I'm still going to build hyper damage. You build accordingly and recognize where your strengths are. And Soul's strengths are pretty much exclusively in auto attacking. She has more than enough to be an impactful auto attacker, so she changed her focus, got the Mantle of Discord, and is hopefully going to be able to survive. Meanwhile, Apollo going for an auto attack build that also focuses on survivability, movement speed, and lifesteal. So he's ideally going to be able to survive a little bit longer and make some big plays. If you're Sanguine Esports, if you're Risky Behavior, you need to look for a way to close out some of this front line.
Yeah, Giliara maybe here a little bit out of position. He's going to get collapsed on by the rest of the Sanguine Esports squad. Now Mango caught out of position. He's going to have to ult away.
Losing the Ao Kuang is going to be a big problem. Epic Uppercut used to set up the rest of this fight. As Apollo comes down, Jing is going to be another one to fall. And it doesn't look like the members of Risky Behavior are going to be able to last throughout this game, as they're using all their CC and everything they can. Losing the Ao Kuang might have lost in the game. There's the Janus trying to make a big play, use the portal to get out. They're distracting the members of Sanguine Esports, Risky Behavior, trying to divert their attention away from their own base, but it might be just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and now it looks like Sanguine Esports is going to be running down the end. They're going to try and end right here without the Fire Giant collapsing into the Titan. It's getting low, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 HP. 1,000 HP, and it looks like that Titan's going to go down. Sanguine Esports managed to take the game versus Risky Behavior.
Yeah, Risky Behavior had a good idea, had good strategy, had a good execution, but the unfortunate thing is just getting caught out that one single time, just getting caught out once as the main character, as the main deterrence for Sanguine Esports, left nothing. No way for Risky Behavior to defend against the onslaught that was this heavy frontline team, because that's all they had. Ao Kuang on the back line, distracting Famous Hate, distracting Covey, was all they really had to try and make a big impact. After that, there was no secure backline harass. Mango still wasn't, I guess, a comfortable point to dive the backline, and even still, if she did, it wouldn't have been a good opportunity or a good situation for that, with only 2 people versus the 5-man strong Sanguine Esports. So positioning ended up costing them the game there.
Definitely. I mean, Giliara, he was absolutely destroying the backline in several instances. He was sitting 7, 6, and 7. He had a lot of times where he would just destroy Soul, and that was his main purpose in life, was to destroy Soul. But just that last fight, just that last positioning, he got a little out of position, was immediately plucked by Fenrir, and just, that was it. From then on, it was just GG. But,
well,
Good games to both
That,
teams.
that was an exciting match. Good to have gotten the chance to see it, but now we get to move forward into the semifinals as Risky Behavior is going to unfortunately take the loss for this week. However, they still had an amazing performance, and I'm excited to see what they can do next week. Sanguine Esports moving forward for what potentially could be anywhere from 4th all the way to 1st place. We'll see you guys in just a moment.